A show like King of the Hill tried to keep things simple, but you cannot stop the power of the internet theory machine, also known as people with too much time who analyze animated shows. But not to worry, the following theories are dark, seemingly accurate, and will make you look at the former Fox animated show in a whole new light. Dale would certainly be proud of some of these crazy plot twists and conspiracies we've gathered together from all 13 seasons of the series. If there's one character who had a lot of ambition on King of the Hill, it would be Luann. Sure, her ambition was often misdirected, but at least she tried. One thing she tried at over and over again? Cosmetology school. Luann just could not give up on her dreams of becoming a hairdresser no matter how poorly she performed or how many repeat courses she had to take. And while she transitioned from beauty school to community college and eventually hosted her own puppet show on local cable, all before going back to beauty school, one theory proposes there was a successful career right in front of Luann's face all along. Being an auto mechanic. Right from the very first episode, we see Luann drains Hank's fuel line and gets his truck running with ease. The task was something neither Hank nor his three pals could figure out themselves. As seasons went on, Luann was able to fix more vehicles. In the episode Shins of the Father, Cotton tries to sabotage Hank's car, only to have Luann figure out the problem just from hearing the engine start.
Don't bother, Uncle Hank. I can't hear the solenoid plunger. You're gonna need a new one.
If Luann was guided in the right direction, she could have had a great high-paying career working on cars, and spent her time cleaning grease out of her hair and learning the best ways to style it. After hearing stories about government cover-ups, aliens, and some crazy conspiracies, it was easy to ignore Dale or brush him off over the years. But one theory proves he may have been right about everything all along. Can you imagine how Dale would react if he got to encounter Agents Scully and Mulder from the X-Files? Well, he could have, because many viewers have pointed out a connection between King of the Hill and the X-Files, besides airing back-to-back for multiple seasons. The connection lies with The Simpsons and their connected universes. On the Season 9 Simpsons episode Bart's Star, several King of the Hill characters make a cameo appearance, connecting their worlds. And just one season earlier, Springfield had some special visitors in the form of the X-Files. So, if Agents Scully and Mulder exist in the Simpsons universe, and Dale has visited Springfield, then Dale was right all along.
I'll ask you a few yes or no questions, and you just answer truthfully. Do you understand?
Yes.
All of the conspiracies and stories of aliens is true, and all covered up from the events of the X-Files. Now that's a crossover we would have loved to see. And if you want to connect to The Simpsons even more, just take a look at some of their more out-there characters, including the alien pair Kang and Kodos. Dale may look like a loon within the town lines of Arlen, Texas, but outside of the town, a lot of his truths can be discovered. There have been numerous guest stars on King of the Hill over the years, but none may have added more mystery than Hank's new friend Hal. Voiced by Drew Carey, the actor was clearly hired for the gig due to his real-life similar look to Hank Hill. In the episode Not in My Back Ho, Hal and Hank become best of friends, much to the dismay of Dale and Bill. But it's only natural for them to be friends. They have the same demeanor, same interests, and understand each other with using very little dialogue. Even though Hal only appears in one episode, we have to wonder if there was more than meets the eye with the character. We all know Cotton got around in his day, and Hank has a half-brother in the form of Junichiro Hill. Well, Junichiro may be half Japanese, but he also looks like a clone of Hank, has many of the same mannerisms, and even has the same reactions to things. Connecting the dots, Hal could be another half-brother Hank and Junichiro have no clue about. Cotton sure does get around, and while the idea is never officially explored in the show, it fits in perfectly with the storyline. It also makes sense why Hank got along so well with Hal, and we all know Cotton took plenty of secrets to his grave with him when he passed away. For multiple reasons, Boomhauer's career has been left a mystery. Well, to be fair, he probably did talk about his affair, we all just happened to misunderstand exactly what he was saying. And then in the series finale, a quick shot showcases a badge and ID seemingly confirming Boomhauer has been a Texas Ranger all along. Now this revelation has spurred multiple theories, including Boomhauer spying on Dale and Boomhauer as an undercover agent, but none of those add up. Then there's one theory that makes a lot of sense. The badge and ID are not real. It's just Boomhauer's cover story if he's ever asked about a career. The reality? Early seasons mentioned the fact that Boomhauer was an electrician.
I'll tell you what you do, you just take them dang old spark plugs out in that little hole, you just put a little oil around there.
He clearly got injured on the job and is living out his days on workman's comp. This is why he doesn't talk about work, because he doesn't have to. Whether he's trying to impress a date or get out of a tricky situation, the fake Texas Ranger badge is pulled out as needed. Plus, becoming a Texas Ranger requires years of training and work in the real law enforcement, something we don't ever see him doing, or even having time for while he hangs out in the alley. Peggy has always been a proud mother and citizen of Arlen, and some would argue she may have been a little too proud of herself. As each season went on, Peggy's narcissism only seemed to grow and expand, and one theory points to a key moment when this happened. In the Season 3 finale, As Old as the Hills, Peggy embarks on a solo skydive, only to have both parachutes fail as she slams into a big pit of mud.
Peggy?
Not only did Peggy break her whole body, but she obviously suffered from a little brain damage as well, increasing her narcissistic nature. One of the prime examples of this new and egotistical Peggy comes in the episode Hanky Panky. Peggy gets ownership over the Sugarfoot's restaurant only to rebrand the whole thing with her face and picture plastered over nearly every part. She even renames the restaurant to Peggy's Sugarfoots, cementing her narcissistic nature even further. And when the restaurant does fail, Peggy cannot see that she is the reason why, blaming it on other factors. Basically, from season 4 and on, there is very little humbling Peggy goes through, as she often sees herself above others and clearly suffered some undiagnosed trauma after the failed skydiving attempt. What is with fictional animated towns and fans' obsession with finding their real location? There is the never-ending debate about Springfield on The Simpsons, finding South Park near Denver, people diving deep in the ocean to discover Bikini Bottom, and then there's King of the Hills, Arlen, Texas. The town is purely fictional, but definitely draws from a lot of real locations found in the state. Mike Judge himself has said elements are based off towns like Humble, Beeline, and Garland. But some keen-eyed viewers may have pinpointed an even more exact location. Thanks to an on-screen map and a little detective work, a theory suggests Arlen, Texas is actually representing Clifton, Texas. The area is about 3 miles away from Dallas, close to Austin, and features some of the show's signature trademarks, including a large river and a state park. While none of the creators of the show have ever confirmed this, Clifton could become a fun tourist attraction to visit to find some inspirations from the show. And just by visiting almost any town in Texas, you can spot a little influence for the show. Just look at Bobby's school, the Tom Landry Middle School. The school itself is based off a real elementary school with almost the exact same name. One of King of the Hill's most widespread theories involves a rumor almost every animated show seems to go through: infidelity and the true parental DNA of one of its characters. This time around, we're focusing on Cotton. Could he also be Peggy's father? Just kidding, just making sure you're still paying attention. Yep. The true question here involves Bobby and Bill. One of the most obvious clues connecting Bobby and Bill together as father and son are their looks. The characters look similar, but this is also just the animation style of Mike Judge, so we have to dig deeper to find more of a connection. Bill has always had an infatuation with Peggy, and for years both Peggy and Hank have had trouble conceiving a child, and Bobby was often perceived as a lucky miracle. Maybe he wasn't a miracle at all. Maybe Peggy took advantage of Bill's feelings and used him to conceive the baby she always wanted. The deep, dark secret has remained hidden all this time, and Bill and Bobby see each other often. In the episode Blood and Sauce, Bill even passes down the secret family recipes to Bobby in an effort to keep the family name and tradition alive. What are the odds he may actually be passing down this tradition to his own biological son?
But I'm not a dough retrieve.
Never has a show had so many simple, incoherent, or rambling catchphrases catch on over the years. From simple quotes like "yep" to the more sophisticated "that boy ain't right," the show is full of these one-liners. And one of the more random ones may be Dale's "sha-sha."
No one's gonna catch the big B off guard.
Dale loves to whip out the quick phrase anytime something exciting is going on, but there has never been any true meaning to it other than just a fun sound. Some theories dove deep into the world of sha-sha, creating a compelling cause for the true meaning. In Russian, the chanting of USA is done with the word "sha." When broken apart and pronounced a little slower or with intention on individual parts, the Russian word for USA sounds awfully similar to Dale's "sha-sha." So could this conspiracy theorist use a little Russian knowledge to chant USA? It makes sense to us and adds a whole new meaning to every time he uses the catchphrase. He may not trust the government, but Dale has plenty of patriotism and he shows it in the most secret way possible, probably trying to uncover some Russian spies in the process.
Sha sha sha. I'm so jacked up on America.
In Season 12, one of the biggest shockers was the death of Cotton Hill. A mainstay on the show for several years, Cotton Hill's health deteriorated and he passed away while lying in the hospital bed. Well, like most TV show deaths, Cotton's has brought up a lot of questions. Like, did he actually fake his own death? Sure, it's a little far-fetched, but let's break things down for a moment. First of all, faking his own death would be the ultimate way to torment his son Hank. Not only would his death put a lot of guilt on his son, but Cotton could enjoy watching the misery from a safe distance. Another theory points to Cotton going into hiding to prevent getting arrested for murder. In the Season 4 episode Moving On Up, Cotton and his friend Topsy go visit their friend Pops only to find out he passed away. A fight ensues between Cotton and Topsy against Griffin and presumably the other roommates. While the episode cuts off, many people theorize that a murder took place to some of the roommates, and Cotton has tried to cover it up for years. Just as the feds get close, he must fake his death to escape jail time. Yep, this one's as crazy as it sounds, but would create quite an interesting storyline for any reboot of the show.
Do you now?
Hank Hill is a simple man. He loves routine, he loves his job, and he definitely loves propane. He likes things in order, and over the 13 seasons, he may have liked a little too much order. Even though the character himself was never diagnosed, plenty of TV-watching couch doctors have had plenty to speculate over the years with Hank's character. There have been theories about him being on the autism or Asperger's spectrum, having some mental challenges, or have few to little true emotions. One of the best theories to stick was Hank having obsessive-compulsive disorder. His OCD was obvious in many episodes, including the tiny details and perfection he puts into his propane career. And then there's the episode Grand Theft Arlen, which shows his obsessive side rise to new heights. Hank discovers the world of video games, becomes obsessed with small details, and even upgrades his controller for better action and details. His OCD comes out in full form, including passing every goal and achieving the best scores possible.
Yes. What? But I killed everyone.
These same traits are often focused on his lawn, which he always has to have in pristine condition.
Yep.
Okay, now that all the theories are out there, time to weigh in. What's your opinion? Which one seems the most logical? Which ones are completely false? Are there any that we missed? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content.